So muscle testing is a fantastic tool that I've been trained in and have used for almost 20 years. And it's a very, very useful tool for me, even though a lot of people out there might think, what in the world? I have no idea what you're doing. So let me explain to you what muscle testing is. So Janelle's going to bring her arm up, and my goal is not to overpower her. My goal is to say, go ahead and hold your arm strong, just like that. Perfect. Very good. Now, my goal is to match her strength. It's not to try to push it down. It's not trying to, like I said, overpower. It's just to match. So I feel a good lock there. Do you feel a lock? Okay. Now, with this, the arm is like an indicator. So just for a second, this is how I like to explain it. Imagine on your fuel tank in your car, okay? You have an indicator that lets you know how much fuel you have in the gas tank. Well, as you drive the car and the fuel goes down, you can see. And then eventually, if you don't put fuel in the gas tank, you're going to be on empty and the car's going to alert you. Well, my goal is to use this arm as an indicator, just like the indicator on your gas tank. And when I press on certain areas and the arm goes weak, there's no fuel in that gas tank or no fuel in that organ system. Okay. Now, when I press on the organ systems, and what I mean by that is the lung has a neurovascular point, meaning nerve and blood flow point to that organ. So when I press on that, if your arm goes weak, there's an indicator that it's got no fuel in it, and we need to pay attention to that organ. So go ahead and bring your arm up and hold strong. Very good. So I'm going to touch the lung point and hold, and it's strong. I'm going to touch this lung point and it's strong. Now, when I see patients, I often am able to identify that if one organ's out of fuel, many organs can be out of fuel. And I like to explain it like this. Our organ system's just like an orchestra. When one instrument's out of tune, the whole orchestra is out of tune. And that's exactly what will happen with our organ system. So if I go to, let's say, her hormonal system, I'm going to check her hypothalamus, her pituitary, and she goes weak. Okay? Now, that means that her hormone system, it could be also her thyroid, her adrenals, all of her hormones may be out of rhythm or out of fuel. Okay? So I'm going to touch hypothalamus again, and then pituitary goes weak. So therefore, now I know, okay, pituitary is an issue. That means her hormones are an issue. Would you agree? Mm-hmm. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to identify a very specific product to find out what will strengthen this pituitary. So go ahead, it's OptiBrain. So now I'm going to put something in her hand, have her hold it to her heart, and now hold her arm. Good, so she's strong. I'm going to touch that pituitary point, and now she goes weak. She's still weak. So this product is not going to help her, okay? And somebody will say, well, that's strange. What do you mean? I just put something in my hand that's in plastic and I put it up to my heart. How do you know that's going to help me? Well, just hang on, okay? I'm going to find out exactly what product she needs. And now I come here, and boom, it's strong. Her arm is strong. And the reason is, I like to explain it as this. The whole world works off vibration, okay? So hang in there with me on this. If somebody says, how does a product, I put a supplement in my hand, make me strong? Then what I like to do is I bring your arm up and I say, Janelle, think of something you really love. You got it? Hold. She's strong, really strong. Think of something you really dislike. And hold. See how weak you go? Okay. So the reason is that's a vibrational thing. Okay. When you think of something you really love, it strengthens your muscles. Okay. When you think of something you really dislike, or if somebody's in fear, it weakens your muscles. And the same thing goes if you go into a room, let's say you walk into a room, you notice how all of a sudden you have an affinity towards certain people? That's because you're matching their vibration. That's why you go to those people. Or have you ever walked into a room and you're like, ooh, I just don't think I ever want to be around them again? That's a vibrational thing. Well, our bodies can pick up vibrations subconsciously. So me just giving you a supplement in your hand, holding that to your heart, your body will pick up the vibration in that in that little supplement holder and know if that's right for you. That's how we can identify exactly what product is good for your body. I have people that will oftentimes bring in 30 to 50 supplement bottles that they're taking every single day, but they're not really taking it for their body. They're taking it because of a symptom that they may have that's associated with possibly helping them. Okay, so I know exactly that this OptiThyroid is going to strengthen her pituitary because she's strong. Okay, now after this, I'm able to identify exactly how often she's going to take it and then how much she's going to take, whether it's on a daily or a weekly basis. So after the muscle testing, what you'll do is come out here and take a seat and put your hand on what's called the Zyto machine. The Zyto is a biofeedback tool that allows me to collaborate more information to build your plan of action. As I review your scan, I'm looking at these biomarkers, which are the red marks outside of the circle. And there's not a good number or a bad number. It's just a good, helpful tool for me to see what can bring these biomarkers back into range. So as I'm scrolling down through the scan, I'm able to identify exactly what supplements, as well as if there's any genetic SNPs. Now, what I'd like to explain to you are sometimes our health conditions can actually be from a deeper cause, meaning genetic, all right? And what that means is when mom and dad come together to form us, we can have certain parts of our genes that could be upregulated or downregulated, which can cause issues in our body. So here's an example that she's having some genetic challenges, some sort of challenge that is affecting her health. Now, I also like to explain it as if maybe there's a missing nutrient that will help the body, but maybe there's a missing enzyme. So I'm looking at many different factors as I evaluate this scan to make her plan of action. Now, as I go down, I'm also able to identify what organs are the most stressed. So I also take the muscle testing into consideration as well as the scan. And then also, I evaluate her spinal health. She definitely has some challenges in regards to, these are the biomarkers that are showing that she has some inflammation, and that's in the lower neck. Would you agree with that? Okay. And then also her lower back, right down in her lower back. So this again is a helpful tool for me to identify what stressors are happening in her body and where they're happening. All right, and next what we do is we run an AO scan, and that AO scan looks just like this, and it's another bioenergetic device that allows me to have a larger picture to your health. And then at that point, when you are done, this will get emailed to you. Now at this point, I also let my assistant know if there's any labs that we should run or any other further tests. So that way I can collaborate all this information to build you a plan of action, and I will deliver that plan of action on your next visit.